Software vendors are increasingly pressuring customers to move to the cloud. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, right? But at the same time, it's just more cost effective and easier to maintain. Digitally transform. What advice do you guys have for helping companies determine the right time to head down this path, and how can iPaaS play a role in jumpstarting this without having to go all the way in, so to speak, of replatforming all their legacy systems? Catherine.
I think we've talked about it, and I think it's spot on. In fact, a recent bank I was working with, they're in their digital transformation plan, and their first step was to create an integration point for everything. Anybody looking at, do I need this or do I not? If you're starting to work with different SaaS solutions, if you've got a Salesforce and a SharePoint and some other CRMs or ERPs, and you're starting to do point-to-point integration, you're about to create a web of data that isn't centralized. And so if you're thinking that way at all, if you're starting to have discussions around integration points, to me, the first decision has got to be, how are you going to handle centralizing integration, which is why iPaaS to me is the most important piece to start with.
Thank you. Lance?
Yeah, I would say that the iPaaS is that platform that we can have those conversations. I've seen over the last, in my time in my career, large legacy systems, mostly the financials and the accounting. It's really hard to modernize those. And you know, we talked early on, you know, when I heard Cold Fusion, I almost fell out of my chair. And there are still Cold Fusion apps I wrote that are probably still out there. Mm-hmm. But when I think about the challenge that they have, it really is around setting that expectation and managing it around what are you getting. And a lot of business cases are all going to be about bottom line. And I think with this one here, it's really more about risk. What is your risk bottom line of staying exactly where you are today? And if you're there 5, 10, 15 years from now, what does that really mean? And if you have to count on your people that are maintaining the system, well, you know, we saw this with NASA and the shuttle program and whatnot. People retire, and if you haven't captured that knowledge, it's going to be really hard to maintain that. But that shouldn't be the focus. The focus really should be an urgency to get to modernization, but in a controlled manner so we can minimize that chaos. And it could take a decade to get off the mainframe for your financials. That's fine. Go ahead and put that out there, and then and then start look at iPaaS. Well, how does iPaaS help me to control what that journey looks like? Now you can prioritize and make some good decisions around your roadmap, get the right people involved, and be thinking about, in my case, you look at some of these companies, I'm like, you never thought you had to get IT 20, 30 years ago, but now you're not an IT company. Focus on what you do well, put those IT functions, let's move them out, and there is going to be a cost, there's going to be an investment. But if you don't do that, what's your risk going to be 10, 15 years from now if you don't get off these legacy platforms?
Michael, advice?
Yeah, no, honestly, I was just sitting here listening to Catherine and Lance. You know, how do you add to that? I think iPaaS is definitely, going back to all models are wrong, some are useful. I was reading a book by Phil Simon on citizen development. And really hit it on the head when he used that quote. We all have unique needs. We're all on a different timeline. We all have different things that we're concerned about. And the speed at which we evolve is going to be varying. Even within our company, we may really jump forward during times and have to kind of slow down. I think, how do we get there without trying to cram everything into one big sock? I think iPaaS is definitely that bridge. So,
thank you, Derek.
Sure. So, I completely agree with Lance on the investment in the iPaaS foundation is core. But what that allows you to do is to scale at your own leisure afterwards. You in the past, when taking on a development project, it was, trying to figure out how to build everything all at once. And the problem with that is that by the time you got halfway through the project, so many variations have changed or business needs have changed. And so you're constantly going back and trying to retweak or retool what's already been developed. And you've never seen a great in-house or even vendor-driven full source solution that does everything that everyone needs. It generally, at best, it does 60% of what we need or 70% of what we need. By going with iPaaS and having that core foundation layer, it's so easy now to add in modules that, okay, this was great for now, but now we need more analytics. We've got a taste of what we can get. Why don't we look at this one module of replacing that with something that it maybe is more expensive, but now that we're actually utilizing it, we see the value. We're gonna pop in another piece of software into our foundational iPaaS core. And this is game changing compared to the thought process of development in the past.
Definitely.